promise this will be one of the last videos I make about the first GTA 6 trailer. One of the last videos I make where I decipher things that I've seen in it. But I just wanted to quickly kind of go through some of the locations we saw. I spoke about this briefly in my breakdown video, but some of the locations we saw in the trailer, which are pretty, we're pretty certain that are these particular locations. So this is some of my own knowledge and research and some of things I've kind of found through various discussions online and what other people think, because as I said before, I've been to Florida, but I've never been to Miami, so my knowledge is somewhat limited. So we open up with this shot in the trailer. I've got to be honest, I don't know where this is. There's a city in the background towards the left. That could be Vice City, Miami. And we have some sort of water treatment facility or something. What could be a water treatment facility in the kind of just off to the side of this highway. And then what looks to be the prison where Lucia is being held in the background. Behind that, there's a kind of arching bridge or highway. And then over to the right, there's something as well. I can't quite work out whether that's, industrial buildings or skyscrapers or whatever, or maybe I'm completely reading too much into this. But what we can also see is this tall kind of tower, I suppose. It's more of an antenna. It's likely inspired by the WTVY TV tower, which is the highest point in Florida, the tallest structure in Florida. And this is actually nowhere near Miami. It's closer to Tallahassee, in a kind of community called Bethlehem. So obviously we're going to be seeing a condensed version of the map. This is not going to be true to size, true to life, to scale, but this is, as I say, this is likely to be the WTVY TV tower. So whether that means it's going to be closer to Miami or we're going to see an in-game version of Tallahassee, we'll have to see. Not much to go off there. Then we have the prison, and I tried to look at prisons in Florida, and they all kind of look very similar. So it's very hard to say which prison this would be inspired by. Next, we have what is very obviously South Beach, or inspired by South Beach. And then again, we have what is very obviously the Everglades, iconic swamplands of Florida with the airboat going down, the flamingos and other various waterfowl. This one tells us its location. It's Vice Beach, inspired by Miami Beach. And this one is fairly obvious too. It's Port Vice City, inspired by Port Miami. You can see up there, which I talked about in my trailer breakdown video at the top on that kind of machinery. It says PVC SO. I don't know what the SO or the SO stands for, but PVC is presumably Port Vice City, based on Port Miami. Now this scene where we have Lucia, or what looks like could be Lucia, hanging out the open roof of the convertible, I had no idea where this was, to be honest. We can see on the sign, Kelly County, VCI Airport, Stockyard, Downtown, Catalan Boulevard, some highways or whatever. But I didn't know where this is. But luckily people online did. It's the MacArthur Causeway. Obviously slightly condensed because that building to the side is a bit further, that kind of light up building is a bit further away in real life, I think, just a few kind of 100 meters or whatever. But that building, people think, is inspired by the Casilla Center, which is formerly American Airlines Arena and FTX Arena. So that's a kind of multi-purpose arena, kind of all lit up there. That's what people seem to think it is. And that building in the background with the massive hole in it is inspired apparently by the Atlantis condominium building, which is kind of luxury apartments in Miami on Brickell Avenue, I don't know. Then we go straight into this shot of the kind of car meet area with these customized cars. People online, again, I didn't know of this area, but people online say this is Wynwood in Miami, a neighborhood which is kind of very artsy and hipster and so on. So that seems fairly kind of 100%. Next, we have a shot of a strip club, bar, club of some sort. Obviously, there are strippers, pole dancers or whatever. And then above it says "Make It Rain Mondays." I think this is the Jack of Hearts club, which we saw in the leaks. I'm pretty certain it is. And that is inspired by the King of Diamonds club in Miami in real life. And when I looked that up, it looks fairly similar. One thing that stood out to me is that the kind of typeface they use, that the King of Diamonds club uses in its kind of ads online and so on, is that same kind of serif font that says "Make It Rain" at the top. In fact, they did have an ad somewhere that said "Make It Rain," and it looked very similar to that. So I'm pretty certain that that's where this is. This was another area which I didn't recognize at all, but people online have recognized it. And since kind of comparing this with real life images, I don't think there's any doubt that this is the going on to the West Venetian Causeway Bridge. This is a kind of toll on Biscayne Island. And this bridge kind of connects Miami Beach to the main part of the city. So we're looking probably, I think on the left-hand side is probably downtown Vice City. But if you do compare these images in real life, this kind of toll booth, this toll here, that apartment building on the right-hand side that's kind of weirdly shaped, the apartment building on the left, the tennis court, it's all very, very close. So I don't think there's any doubt that this is that area. Then we have what is very obviously Ocean Drive. In Vice City, I think they also called this Ocean Drive, so I don't know. I imagine they will rename it for GTA 6. I can't see them calling it Ocean Drive in GTA 6, because that's what it's called in real life. And just as in GTA Vice City, they also called the state Florida, we now know that the state in GTA 6 is going to be called Leonida or Leonida or whatever. So they're obviously, as you would expect, as they did with, San Andreas in GTA 5 compared with GTA San Andreas, there are going to be significant changes in terms of the names of things. But yeah, so this is Ocean Drive. We can see the iconic Ocean View Hotel from GTA Vice City, which I think is your first safe house in Vice City. So it's cool that they've kept that. I, would have expected them to. You also see the Boardwalk Hotel on the left here at the front. That is, according to people online, based on the Breakwater Hotel. And the Hotel Dixon in the back there is apparently based on the Hotel Victor. Apparently the architect who built it or designed it or whatever was called Dixon. His surname was Dixon, so that kind of is more evidence that it is based on Hotel Victor. This indoor shot of what appears to be a different club compared to the previous club. I don't know where this is, honestly, but I've seen people speculating online that it could be Club Space Miami, which is a huge club in Miami. So that could be the case. I've looked at pictures online, and they do have pictures of a kind of DJ booth up there where this DJ is, and there are curtains kind of hanging above it, ornamental curtains. So that's obviously very similar, but again, this could have been inspired by several clubs in Miami. So we don't know for sure, but this could be Club Space. This one is very obviously, I knew it from the second I saw it, the Florida Keys. So, I mean, this looks, I love this shot so much. I think this is my favorite shot from the whole trailer. It just looks amazing. This is the 7 Mile Bridge, which is very long. Well, it's not actually quite 7 miles. I think in my research I found that it's about 6.7 miles, not 7 miles. But anyway, semantics. This is the very long bridge that kind of connects the Florida Keys up. So it runs from Knights Key to Little Duck Key, part of the Overseas Highway. And on the right-hand side here, we see the old original railway bridge that has since been shut down when they built this new highway. So there's no doubt about this. This is the Florida Keys, or will they be called the Leonida or Leonida Keys in the game? We don't know, but we have seen on signs in the trailer the word Keys, so we'll assume that they're called the Keys in the game as well. Here we have another shot of Vice City or Miami. Now this sign kind of confused me in my trailer breakdown, because I wasn't aware of any kind of big Miami sign like the Hollywood sign. But people have since pointed out that in several films, I think particularly, was it Michael Bay films maybe, to illustrate that a character in the film has traveled to Miami, they show a Miami sign that looks very similar to this with a plane flying over it, and it's supposed to be a kind of, people think it's a real sign at Miami Airport, this big Miami sign with the plane flying in. It's not, it's a set that has been used several times, it's not a real thing, but I definitely wouldn't put it past Rockstar to put a reference to that in the game, and this could very well be it. There is a building in the background which, could be a kind of, air traffic control tower, but I imagine that we're looking away from the runway because there are quite a few taller buildings in the background. So if this is at the airport, this could be a reference to that. It also could be anything, I don't know. This is just one sign that says Vice on it. Then we have this great shot of Thrillbilly Mud Club, as it says in the corner. Apparently this is a real kind of thing that happens. People go to these places, get covered in mud, get drunk, drive monster trucks and quad bikes and things around. Great, it's very Florida. This one, according to people online, and going off the name as well, Thrillbilly Mud Club, seems inspired by Redneck Mud Park. Even the logo of Redneck Mud Park is quite similar to Thrillbilly Mud Club, so I would say that's pretty certain. But in real life, Redneck Mud Club is just outside of Fort Myers, in a kind of rural, more foresty area of outside of Fort Myers. This shot here with the woman with two hammers, which I didn't realise at the time, but was inspired by an actual video of a woman with two hammers in California, I think it was. Obviously, there's not much to go off in terms of location in the background, but it does say, Neighborhood Watch, don't play around in Hamlet at the bottom. Hamlet, I don't know, looking at the background, where this could be, but Hamlet could possibly be a reference to Homestead, just going off the fact that Hamlet obviously means a kind of small village, and Homestead obviously means like a piece of land where someone lives, a house and land. So that could potentially be what it's referencing here. And this is Hamlet could very well be Homestead, but I don't know. I've never been. And this isn't much to go off in this one shot, but there has been some speculation that an area based on Homestead, Florida, would be in the game. There are a few shots in this part of the trailer that I don't know where they could be, to be honest. And I haven't seen many people saying online where they think it could be. We do see a sign that says Waning Sands, but besides that, there's not too much to go on. And again, at the end here, we get a shot of Jason and Lucia kind of speeding away from a pawn and gun shop. And I have no idea where this could be, but we do see on a sign it says Port Gellhorn, which is an area we saw quite heavily in the leaks that we saw last year. Where is it? I don't know, to be honest. Could be anywhere. So those are the locations that we've seen so far in the trailer. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything.